It is the night of August 17th of the year 1862, and at the village of Demaduwa Canton, Dakota leader Little Crow, a commotion stirs. Earlier, 4 young men of the Sioux had killed 5 white settlers in a skirmish, and Little Crow rebuked the men for their foolish actions. One of the men called Little Crow a coward, to which Little Crow responded, Teoya Teduta is not a coward and he is not a fool. When did he run away from his enemies? When did he leave his braves behind him on the warpath and turn back to his teepee? When he ran away from your enemies, he walked behind you on your trail with his face to the Ojibways and covered your backs as a she-bear covers her cubs. Is Teoya Teduta without scalps? Look at his war feathers, beyond the scalp locks of your enemies hanging there on his lodge poles. Do you call him a coward? Teoya Teduta is not a coward and he is not a fool. Braves, you are little children, and you know not what you were doing. You were full of the white man's devil water. You were like dogs in the hot moon when they run mad and snap at their own shadows. We are only little herds of buffalo left scattered. The great herds that once covered the prairies are no more. See, the white men are like locusts when they fly so thick that the whole sky is a snowstorm. You may kill 1, 2, 10, yes, as many as the leaves in the forest yonder, and their brothers will not miss them. Kill 1, 2, 10, and 10 times 10 will come to kill you. Count your fingers all day long, and white men with guns in their hands will come faster than you can count. Yes, they fight among themselves, a way off. Do you hear the thunder of their big guns? No, it would take you 2 moons to run down to where they're fighting, and all that way your path will be among white soldiers as thick as tamaracks in the swamps of the Ojibways. Yes, they fight among themselves, but if you strike at them, they will all turn on you and devour you and your women and little children, just as the locusts in their time fall on the trees and devour all the trees in one day. You are fools. You cannot see the face of your chief. Your eyes are full of smoke. You cannot hear his voice. Your ears are full of roaring waters. Braves, you are little children. You are fools. You will die like the rabbits when the hungry wolves hunt them in the hard moon of January. Teoya Teduta is not a coward. He will die with you. Resentment amongst the Sioux had been building against the encroachments of the United States throughout the early 1800s. Broken treaty after broken treaty. Then, the establishment of the Sioux Reservation along the Minnesota River in 1851. In 1856, New Ulm was established, and logging and farming further encroached on Sioux land. Overhunting by white settlers dramatically reduced the population of wild game, and food shortages began due to white traders and bureaucrats withholding rations and embezzling promised payments. The outbreak of the American Civil War in 1861 further exasperated issues. In 1858, Minnesota was granted statehood, and Little Crow went with a Sioux delegation to Washington to negotiate the existing treaties. These negotiations resulted in the Sioux losing the northern half of their reservation in the 1858 treaty. By 1860, the white population of Minnesota had grown to 170,000 from just 6,000 in 1850. In early August of 1862, representatives from the Sisseton and Wapeton met at Upper Sioux Agency and were able to obtain food. The Mediwa Canton and Wapekute went to the Lower Sioux Agency and were rejected. One man, named Andrew Myrick, told the Sioux representatives, "Let them eat grass." On August 17th, 4 young Sioux men attacked and killed 5 white settlers. Realizing they were in trouble, the men went to Little Crow, who rebuked them, but knew the time for war had come, for the Americans would retaliate violently and indiscriminately. In the middle of the night, Little Crow convened a war council. Among the leaders present, Mankato, Wabasha, Big Eagle, and Traveling Hale. While the leaders were split on what course of action to take, by daybreak it was decided to attack Lower Sioux Agency. The surprise attack happened on August 18th. Little Crow led the raid. Myrick was among the first killed. Big Eagle stated later, Mr. Andrew Myrick, a trader with an Indian wife, had refused some hungry credit a short time before, when they asked him for provisions. He said to them, "Go and eat grass." Now he is lying on the ground dead, with his mouth full of grass, and the Indians saying tauntingly, "Myrick is eating grass himself." Little Crow's attack resulted in 20 white men dead, and 10 women and children captured, alongside the looting and sacking of Lower Sioux Agency. After the raid, B Company of the 5th Minnesota Volunteer Regiment was sent to defeat Little Crow, but was ambushed at the Battle of Redwood Ferry, with 24 soldiers, including the party's captain, John Marsh, being killed. Sioux war parties swept through the Minnesota Valley, destroying several settlements like Milford, Leavenworth, and others. Little Crow was not done, however, for he was just getting started. His next objective? To take the very symbol of U.S. presence in the region, Fort Ridgely, and to attempt to drive the Army of the United States out of Sioux land, once and for all. Thanks for watching.